Okay, so it was requested that I do a tutorial, more or less see the tutorials I've watched, but it's pretty much the same thing. So I'm just going to run through this real quick, so you guys can see what I do for editing. So I use SMAL 2021. This is always my base. One of the things that I loved about this was the true to color, true to tone that it offered. I don't like the high contrast because it muddies out the skin, and I think that's a lot of people's problems. With the update that Lightroom released, you can change the amount of preset that's being applied. And what it does is it actually adjusts all of the stuff over here in your toolbox accordingly, which I think is just fantastic. It cuts down on a lot of editing time. So once I've set that to 50%, then I bump up the exposure. Now, one of the other things that happens during this editing process is the skin, where it's shiny. It can tend to run overexposed, so I'm going to drop down the highlights. And some of these shadows are really dark too, so I'm going to bump the shadows. Actually, I guess it's the blacks. And then bring down the whites a little bit. The other thing that I want to do is restore some of the background, so I'm going to use Lightroom to create a select subject. We're going to invert that. And then we're going to go to the mask and intersect that with a linear gradient. I'm going to bring that down from the top just so that it's like a nice smooth transition. And I don't know if you know this or not, but if you hold down, like while you're dragging, you hold down and then you hold the shift key on your keyboard, it will automatically straighten your line so it's a 90-degree angle, which is super nice. So we're going to drop the exposure on the background just till it looks natural to matching this image here. I think that looks good. We've got some of that blue coming back, so before, after, it's not so blown out. Alright, so now I have my base. And this is all edited with SMAL. I shoot with a Nikon Z6i, and it was a 35mm, 100 ISO, f2.2, and 1/6/48 of a second. So we're going to bump this down into Photoshop. Alright, so I use greater than Gatsby's actions here. I don't know if that's allowed in this group, but I'll show you anyways. So, first step, I have these kind of broken out, so I'm not going to look at those. These are my own that I've made out of these. So, we're going to do the Portrait Retouch collection. And we're going to do all over eye foundation, iris enhancements, lashes and brows, define the eyes. So I'm going to play that out. And go forming. Over here, I'm going to create a group. Just the way I like to do it. It makes it easier. So then when I zoom in on the first set of eyes, we're going to put this define the eyes. Define the eyes all over. So we want an opacity of 100, flow of 50, and bring down the brush size. There's no right over the eye. Next is lashes, so we're going to bring that down just big enough to cover the lashes. And then brows, and you can just see a subtle difference. I'll show you before and after once I get done. This is the iris color in the center. Just brightens it up. And then we do the outer rim. Darken that up a little bit. This is the catch light, so we'll go ahead and put that over top too. And then the base foundation goes all over the eye, so we're going to get that a little bit bigger and we're just going to carry that just over the eye itself. Alright, so this is what I've got now. This is before, now. And one of the things I do then too is bring this down, the layer opacity down, so that it's a little bit more natural and see not so extreme. Alright, now I'm going to do the same thing to her. And now that I have that layer set, it's just going to automatically apply it at 70%. I apologize for the voice. I've just woken up not that long ago, so haven't yelled at my kids yet. So I don't have my mom voice going on. It's not cute. My young voice is not cute. Just doing all the things we just did to Mom on little Miss Ava here. And the base. That base really just grabs it. Perfect. Alright, so now that that's done, we're going to flatten the image. And we can start doing our fun stuff. So I use the Innocence workflow with Greater Than Gatsby. We're going to start with the emotional color base, emotional 2 color base. Okay, that looks great. Next, we're going to go to the Painterly Portrait. And we're going to do Son of Man. I like the vibrancy that this brings, all the colors here. So once that's done, we're going to flatten the image, and then we're going to do the Warhol Painterly texture. By the way, I'm pretty sure already that this is a slightly different edit than the one that I originally shared with you guys, so bear with me. With the Painterly textures, you always want to brush those off the skin, because they're overpowering, so I'm just gonna, that's too quick. I'll go here. So we're gonna have the white mask selected, we're gonna switch it over, take it off the skin. It also restores the texture of the skin, so you can see like all the little hair follicles and bumps and abrasions. I prefer natural skin. That's just the way I edit. I like natural colors. I try to keep it as real as possible so it's not pretend. And then we're going to also kick this opacity of the brush down to 60. And then we're going to brush it all over everything to restore the texture of the clothes, the hat, hair. A lot of people like the Painterly smooth actions, and what it does, it can make everything look kind of like a portrait, a painting, which is nice, but I like it more for the smoothing aspect. So once we're done with that, we're just going to flatten the image, and then we're going to scroll down to Golden Glow. In this set, I like using the sun. So we're going to put the sun up here, and you see it's over their faces, so you don't want that. So we're going to take our brush over that, black over our brush. We're going to now clean this up. Off the skin, off the clothes, because in real life, oh, I forgot to set my opacity back to 400. In real life, you would not see this glow from the angle in which the photo was taken, so we need to mask that off our subjects. And there's someone right here. And then if you don't like the overall extreme in the background, you can adjust the opacity here, but what I actually like to do is blow this brush up. That's good. And then change the opacity to like 60%, and then start at the base of where this is happening, and just take your brush and move it over the affected areas, because it doesn't need to be so yellow here. Just take a little bit of that away. There you go. So once that's done, we're just going to flatten the image again. And I just needed to check to make sure we're running out of time. I like the Twilight Hour vignette. It's really nice. Pull to the center of the photo. Again, I'm a little crazy, but I don't like it affecting the skin tones too much, so I'm just going to take this and just kind of brush a diagonal mask over the subject's faces. That seems nice. I like that. I also use the final coloring. Kind of gives it illuminates the picture. This is without, with, and I set the opacity of that layer to 30%, so I don't want the filter affecting the picture like 30%. So that's nice, added boost of warmth and everything. We're going to do a high dynamic range, HDR range. It's going to really bring back the details. Now that's too heavy, so I always drop this down to between 10 and 15%. I'm just going to go for 10 since we have time issues. It's extremely subtle what you see there. Sometimes I use the fill brush to like add some extra light to the subject. And for the portrait retouch, you can ransack the reds. This is where it's nice. So we're going to pump this down. And we're going to brush this all over Mom's skin, because her tan, also you'll see some reds in the dress. Her tan is a little much, so we're going to brush that off, and then you get little Ava's skin as well. Also, you'll notice I masked off the lips, or I brushed off the lips. We're going to lower this brush size down, and then we're just going to restore the lips by using the white mask, because I want to keep that color. And over Miss Ava's. Alright, this is too much red removal. We don't need that much, just looking at the green, so I'm going to bring this down to like 25 to 30. I'm going to have to start another recording here soon, so there, that looks pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording and start another one, so hold on just a second.